So occupancy, we get this question all the time. We run into this issue all the time. Should a buyer get occupancy to the house they're buying prior to closing? For whatever reason, whether that's actually to start moving stuff in, whether it is to go in and start doing some work to it, get it clean, get the carpets cleaned, whatever it is. So the answer to that is it's kind of up to the buyer and the seller. They have to agree on how that works. But there are risks to allowing anything to be done prior to closing. If somebody starts moving all their stuff in and something happens and it doesn't close, they got to get all that stuff out. It's no longer their house. If somebody goes in to start to do some work and for whatever reason it doesn't close, that work has been done, who pays for it? So there's a lot of different reasons that it is not a good idea to allow somebody to go in and do some work. You might be thinking to yourself, well, that's extremely rare that it's not going to close when you're that close to closing and it seems like everything's good. And while you may think that, it's a lot more common than you might think. We see deals fall at the last minute for all kinds of reasons, and some of them you would have no idea that they're coming. So to be on the safe side, while the risk is really low, to be on the safe side, you should not allow occupancy prior to closing. You should not allow work to be done prior to closing. We do have some instances where the buyer's asking to move some things into maybe the garage a couple days early. And while that is okay sometimes, there better be something in writing who's responsible if there's any damage done, if something's stolen. So there's a lot of different variables in that. But in the end, it's not a good idea to allow occupancy prior to closing. Does it happen sometimes? Yes, sometimes it does. Do people move things into houses prior to when they close from time to time? Yes, it does. It happens from time to time. But again, there are inherent risks to that everybody, both the buyer and the seller, need to be aware of. And typically, if something like that happens, something needs to be in writing that explains exactly all the details of the situation, when they can move in, who's responsible if something happens, what's going to happen if it doesn't close. Like I said, there's a lot of variables in that. So if you're thinking about selling your house, or if you are selling your house and you're wondering, should I allow a buyer to move in or do work prior to closing, come back and listen to this again. If you are a buyer that is wanting to get in prior to closing, understand that there's a lot of risk for both you and the seller. It's not always a good idea, even though it might make things a lot easier. So if you're thinking about buying or selling, give us a call, let us know. We'll be glad to answer your questions for you, and we'll obviously be happy to help you through that whole process. And if you are out of the Cincinnati area and you're thinking about buying or selling, we know agents all over the country that might be able to help you out. We can refer you to a good agent. So think about us. Let us know if you have any questions. We're here for you.